Get started with Will Smith. Will, thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it. Who has the first question for Will? We'll start with Kirsten in the second row right up front.
Oh, thank you. Apologies. Will, I know we've talked a lot about this bullpen throughout the season, and we saw, of course, some of the struggles last night. As a leader on this team, as now a veteran, obviously our number one catcher, what is it like just navigating and kind of working through these guys when they are having some of their struggles and looking to bounce back like tonight?
Yeah, it's tough, when it doesn't go your way. But it's just one pitch at a time. It's just focus on executing that pitch. Keeping them calm in the moment. Not letting the moment get too big. Not letting the game speed up on them. Just keeping them focused on one pitch at a time.
Mm-hmm. With Yoshinobu, he's obviously coming off of a special outing against the Brewers in which he threw that complete game. As he comes into this start today, what just kind of makes him to be that right guy? Because essentially every game moving forward is a must-win.
Yeah, no, he's been great. Great all year. He's got the experience from last year. He's so focused right now. It's gonna be a fun night for him. I have high expectations for him as always. But yeah, no, he's just a competitor. He throws strike one, gets ahead. He's got nasty stuff. Just really makes it tough on hitters.
We'll stay there with Fabian.
Yeah, well, what are the challenges of calling a game when you're facing a lineup that strikes out as little as the Blue Jays really do?
Yeah, they're a bunch of good hitters. They fight in the box. They put together good at bats. They move the ball. So it's just finding ways to get them out, keep them off balance. When they do hit the ball, finding pop-ups or ground balls right at guys. So it's a challenge. It's a good team, but I still trust our pitching more than their hitters. So hoping to eat in the series tonight.
Offensively, obviously, you guys face some tough pitching, but what do you think has been missing to get you guys really clicking and going as a group?
Yeah, we've been putting together good at-bats. It's just coming up with a timely hit. Last night, we had bases loaded early. We were up 2-0. Not getting the big hit there. So we have plenty of opportunities. It's just coming together. Someone stepping up, getting the big hit to push 3-4 across, per inning.
Third row on your left, Will.
Hey, Will, you talk about the difference between year one and year two. I mean, you've been in a bunch of these. So how big a leap is that from appearing in your first World Series to coming back to the next one?
Yeah, it's the World Series. It's the best of the best, the two hottest teams at the time. It's fun. So it's pressure baseball. It's who's gonna mess up, who's gonna make the right pitch, who's gonna move the ball when you need to. Basically, who's gonna out execute who. Last night they beat us at that. So trying to do a better job than them tonight.
But I'm thinking for an individual player, the distractions, the whole atmosphere around this stage. I mean, what does a player have to kind of watch out for and guard against and embrace?
Yeah, you gotta embrace the emotions, but you also gotta tame them. You gotta slow the game down. You gotta not try to do too much. You gotta slow your heart rate down. You gotta just focus at the task at hand, and basically just not try to do too much at times. Kind of let the game come to you, not try to force anything, and just kind of focus on what you're doing.
Third row straight ahead, Will. Sonia.
Well, when you're working with someone like Emmett Sheehan, who is used to coming into clean innings, yesterday was in his first kind of dirty inning of the postseason. Like, how do you try to guide him through that when it's something that he's not used to doing? Yeah,
just one pitch at a time. Just reminding him he's been there, done that. Maybe not coming right into that situation, but he's gotten out of bases, loaded jams before. So just instilling some confidence in him, instilling some trust. We were able to get ahead of guys, get 0-2 counts, just couldn't put them away. They put together some good at-bats, came up with a timely hit and, a couple of walks. So, that was tough. But, I know he'll learn from that experience last night. And, if he's thrown right back in there tonight or the next day, he'll be ready.
And you've obviously worked with him both as a starter and now in this kind of postseason relief role. Has there been any difference in like how he's acclimated to this?
No, he's been good. He's been really good. He's given us really good innings late in games that we've needed. He's been great all year long. Coming off the injury from last year and all that. He's one of our guys. He's one of the guys we're going to have to lean on if we're going to win this thing.
Other questions for Will? What else? All right, Will. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. All right, we'll get started with Tommy, who has the first question. We will start with Kirsten, and then we'll go to Kevin after.
Tommy, last night, just looking at the offense, how you guys were able to build some at-bats early in the game, and especially getting to Trey Savage. How important is that going to be tonight against Edman, as much as there is some familiarity, but just probably not too much recent familiarity with him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's we know we're going up against a great pitcher. He has a really good, a couple of really good pitches, good execution. So we got to be really disciplined with our game plan. But we talked that through as a team, and I felt like yesterday we had a pretty good approach against their starter, and hopefully we can do the same today.
Third row to your left, Tommy. Kevin.
Tommy, thanks for your time. You guys are kind of in uncharted territory. You haven't trailed a series, I don't think, since the first series last year, and you've only lost once before that in this postseason. Is the feeling around the team kind of like what just happened, or was it more like you got punched in the face and now you got to respond?
I wouldn't say. I mean, obviously we were surprised with how many runs they scored yesterday, with how good our pitching staff has been. But it's really tough to go through a whole postseason without having a game or two like that. And we know with how good this offense is that they can kind of explode at any time. But we've, like you're saying, we've been there. Last year we had that series against the Padres where we were facing a couple elimination games, and we have pretty much the same group back that faced that situation last year. So we've been there before.
Third row straight ahead, Bill.
Yeah, Tommy, give us an update on your ankle, and is center field an option, or is that just off the table until next spring?
Yeah, ankle's feeling really good. I haven't really talked that through with Doc. I think the plan is just second base for now. But it's maybe that'll be a conversation. I'm not really sure, but for now, just second base.
Is there something that you're going to have done on the ankle after the season, surgery or whatever?
I'm not sure. We'll probably evaluate that after the season's over. For now, I think just playing the rest of the games of the World Series will be totally fine. It's actually improved a good amount throughout postseason, and it feels like it's in a really good spot now. But yeah, that's something we'll talk about in the off season.
Up front on your left, Tommy. Ron.
Is it noticeable to you at the plate how much harder pitchers and relievers are throwing in the postseason than during the season?
I haven't really thought about that. Obviously, in the postseason, you're playing against the best teams, so you're going to be facing the best pitchers as well. And maybe a little bit of adrenaline too. All the pitchers have a mile or two higher than they would in the regular season, but it's you're going up against the best pitchers, so you're kind of aware of that going into it.
Do you have to think a split second faster on your decisions, or is that not possible?
Not really. I think that's when you get in trouble. You start guessing. So I think just being more locked in with the pitches that you're trying to hit.
Go back to the fourth row on your left, Jack.
What was going right on right against Savage yesterday, just trying to kind of take his splitter out of the equation, or something else just about the matchup that made sense?
Yeah, just the matchup. I mean, he's done a lot better against lefties than righties throughout this year. I think it's a big part of it is because of his arm angle, his unique arm angle. So, just looking at those two factors, it made more sense to hit right-handed.
And then for you guys as a lineup, what do you need to do to cash in a little bit more on the opportunities you have been generating, in the way you guys were kind of coming into the postseason?
Yeah, going back to the last series too, I felt like we had a ton of traffic and didn't score as many runs as we necessarily could have. And I think it's just maintaining that consistency of at-bats, even with runners in scoring position. We've done a great job getting innings started and then just haven't cashed in, like you're saying. I think keeping the same approach instead of trying to do a little extra when guys get to second and third base.
Other questions for Tommy? Am I missing anybody? All right, Tommy, thank you so much for your time. Great to see you. Appreciate it. All right, we'll get started with Doc, who is the first question. We'll start with Kirsten.
Hey, Barry.
Right up front.
Dave, Will Smith was in here earlier, and he was just talking about just some of the offense, some of the at-bats that he's either been having or been seeing from this team. What's got to be the key just to kind of having some of those pivotal moments and the timely hitting that you want to see from this group, since the quality of at-bats has been there thus far?
Yeah, you know what? I thought, first time through, I thought we were fantastic. I really did. Tonight's going to be a similar test as far as pitcher. And then I felt the second time around, we fell off as far as quality of at-bat. I think it's just sort of, being aggressive early, but then the ability to win pitches as we get deeper in the count. And I think if you look at early count hitting, they were better last night. And then as far as with 2 strikes, winning pitches late, fouling pitches off, they were better. And that's sort of, the tale of the 2 offenses last night. So today's a different day. The psyche, the mentality, the mindset is good from our guys. But yeah, I do feel good in the sense that similar type of profile, with Gosman versus Yasevich last night.
Last row straight ahead, Mitch.
Dave, I'm just wondering, what are your memories of managing Max Scherzer?
Max, he's one of one, great competitor. Don't want to touch him during outings. Don't want to pat him on the backside. Wants to be the guy, and so I really enjoyed managing a future Hall of Famer. He's very smart. He's a baseball player first, then a pitcher. It's going to be a good test for us. Game 3.
What is unique about his preparation compared to other starters?
Very not unique, but it's very focused. It's very intentional. He does a lot of his own homework. He's very prepared. He asks a lot of questions, a lot of it from the hitter's perspective, which is really smart. And not just kind of going at it from the pitcher's side. He kind of wants to know what hitters think. So very unique in that way.
Second row on your right, Dave.
Oh, Dave. Shohei was booed and there were chants at him yesterday. From what you've learned from Shohei, how does he receive that and go on to do what Shohei normally does?
Well, I don't think he understood the chants. So that's one part of it. As far as being booed, I think that he understands why he was booed. And I don't think he minds it. I don't think it necessarily fuels his fire. I think I've used this word with Shohei a lot. He's just a really good compartmentalizer. So I don't think it really affects him. And he's just there to just do his job.
Go to the last row on your left with David.
Dave, you're sticking with Pages again tonight. He struggled this postseason. We know what you want out of that 9 spot. Was there any consideration about maybe giving Call a start tonight because of the quality of at-bats that he's shown you? What are you seeing with Pages, and what does he have to show you to continue to get opportunities on this stage?
Very fair. He has struggled this postseason, and what I need from him is to have quality of bat, to be able to get on base, to win 3-2 pitches. He's playing very sound defense, which is a big part of why he's in there. Being in the 9 hole, I'm not expecting him to carry the offense, but still be a contributor. I have contemplated other, decisions. I'm keeping a close eye on it, but I still need to see some kind of uptick in consistency of performance. So when and if I decide to change, I haven't decided that, but I'm being mindful.
Go one row ahead to Jack.
Just with the offense overall, how have you evaluated the quality of at-bats, especially in like those leverage situational spots when you guys have built innings but maybe not had been able to turn them into bigger opportunities?
I think I'm not going to just look at last night. I think just in totality, in the postseason, I think that we can be better. I think that we have done a nice job at times of building innings. But when it comes down to, winning a pitch, getting a base hit, hitting the ball the other way, whatever it might be, taking a walk. We haven't been great with situationally. We really haven't in the postseason. My hope is that, once we create stress, then we can sort of finish off innings. Yeah, I think we're doing a good job of getting there, but we got to do a better job of finishing, which I think that we're certainly capable of doing that.
And can a game like last night serve almost as like a reality check for the offense or a reset of just knowing, like, for as good as the pitching staff has been up to this point of the postseason, knowing the kind of lineup you guys are facing, just kind of what they're going to need to produce in this series to put you guys where you want to be?
Yeah, I think so. These guys aren't going to go away. They're very confident. It's a very talented team. And so, yeah, whether you get a 2-run lead, you got to continue to tack on. You got to get to the pen, and you got to beat those guys up and keep kind of building on innings. And so certainly seeing what those guys can do offensively is noted, yeah.
Go to Bill in the third row up front.
Just quickly, when you say Shohei didn't understand the chance, do you mean he couldn't hear them clearly? Or
Well,
didn't
I
understand
think
the
that it was
motivation?
more, I think he was hitting, and it was muddled until I heard it, but I wasn't hitting. And so my point being is that I understand he understands the language, but he's still hitting in the box, and I don't think his focus was on a chant.
And what are those center field options? Is Tommy Edman an option, or is that just off the table?
It's been off the table, because of potential injury risk, and I'm not quite sure. He hasn't taken a fly ball out there in a month, so I'm just not sure where he's at.
And then Kike, too much of a drop-off defensively to move him?
Yeah, that's kind of the thought of just kind of he hasn't played. He's probably played a handful of innings in center field all year, and he's been plus in center field. And so, when you're in the middle of the diamond, the defense certainly matters. But so does the offense. So I think it's for me trying to, weigh it all and sum it up. But it's not Andy's sole responsibility, as far as the offensive inconsistencies. I just refuse to put that on, a 9-hitter.
We'll stay there with Sonia.
Dave, obviously keeping Tommy on the field and playable is kind of the most important thing, but how has not having him available to play the outfield kind of limited some of your lineup construction?
It really has. Part of Tommy's value is his versatility and his willingness to do anything on the diamond. And with the ankle, it was made clear to me that at second base is the best way to keep him on the field and healthy. And so we've done that. He's been healthy. He's performed. And so, but yeah, to not have him, the ability to kick him out to the outfield is certainly, minimize some of that versatility. Absolutely.
And have you set your starters for games 3 and 4 yet?
Tyler will throw game 3, and then Shohei will go game 4.
Go to Barry up front, Dave.
Hey, Doc, back to their offense a little bit. What Schneider said last night was that it's important for them to keep you guys in the strike zone. So, but I would think the counter to that is to have a guy like Yamamoto who can pick apart the strike zone, put it in places in the strike zone where they're not anticipating it. How much of a game plan do you have to counter what they do?
Yeah, it's a cat and mouse. That's an aggressive hitting team, certainly early in the count. And so if you have, it's a risk reward to be able to get quick outs versus potential taking on early count damage. So Yamamoto has a lot of ways to, access the hitting zone, the counts. And so how he does that is going to be hitter to hitter. But I know that those guys are going to be aggressive early. That's just kind of who they are.
Also, he's got so many pitches to rely on, too, and to mix them up kind of in a counterbalance to what they expect.
That's the game within the game, absolutely.
All right, Doc, thank you so much for your
All right.
time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.